Wave at the camera, boys. Y'all be on.
Fish dating.
Right. Second left. Little strike, dude. White bass.
A little white bass. Two backs with him in the backfield. Run the option to the near side. They try a reverse and the ball.
Hey everybody, welcome to, thank you, I appreciate that. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Night Out. We're live from Town Square Social, 145 Public Square. Our program brought to you each week at this time by Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Rob Painter, Donnie Self, Shop Springs Creamery, Jeffrey and Elizabeth Turner, the Salas Realty Group, 120 Public Square, Lebanon, THW Insurance Services, 321 West Main Street, Lebanon, Cumberland University Athletics, and D.T. McCall and Sons, Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Franklin, and Cookeville. I want to get into this before we get Coach Gentry and our other coaches started on the program. This week has been crazy because of concerns about the weather from Hurricane Francine. The schedules have been altered. So we've got 3 games on Thursday, we've got 3 games on Friday in the county. And here's how this is going to work out. Thursday, September 12th, Warren County will play at Mount Juliet, 7 o'clock kick at Roger Perry Field. Grace Christian will play at Friendship Christian, that's at Pirtle Field. That'll be a 6:30 kickoff. And Watertown will travel to Smithville to take on DeKalb County. That too is a 7 o'clock football game. The games that are staying on their regular Friday schedule, Friday, September 13th, Green Hill at Wilson Central, Cookeville at Lebanon, Red Boiling Springs at Mount Juliet. Now, Mount Juliet Christian was going to have homecoming on Friday night. They've decided to bounce homecoming to September 20 when they play Nashville Christian, but the game against Red Boiling will be played at Ed Suey Field. So, once again, Thursday, Warren County at Mount Juliet, Grace Christian at Friendship, Watertown at DeKalb County, and on Friday, Green Hill at Wilson Central, Cookeville at Lebanon, and Red Boiling Springs at Mount Juliet. I'll be back with our coaches after this timeout. Thanks for staying with us. Tommy Bryan with you, and Chuck Gentry, head coach of the Blue Devils With me here to open the program, once again, Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Shop Springs Creamery, the Salas Realty Group, THW Insurance, Cumberland University Athletics, and DT McCall & Sons sponsor this program and make it possible. The Blue Devils snapped a 2-game losing streak to start the season. They went to McMinnville and defeated Warren County by a score of 35-0. Chuck, you said at the time it wasn't the prettiest thing, but when you went back and looked at the film, I'm sure there were some good things you saw from your football team.
Yeah, Tommy, anytime you score on special teams, anytime you score on defense, good things are happening. We got a shutout. That's obviously good. I felt like we played with more energy than we had. It's not saying that we hadn't played with energy, but I felt like we ramped it up a little bit. Of course, it helps that taking nothing away from Warren County, but the caliber of football team's a little different and played the right team at the right time, as we said earlier. But I felt like we played hard and wasn't great, wasn't clean, never going to be perfect, but a little better, and hopefully it's something to build on.
Quentin Moore, you spoke about defense. Quentin Moore was the Wilson County Defensive Player of the Week. 3 tackles for loss, a fumble recovered, and 7 tackles. And he really played well there in the middle for you.
Well, and he's just now coming into his own. He's moved in here from Charleston County and learning how we play, what to do, things. He's used to playing every down of every snap of football he's ever been on, and so he's learning and doing, and played some sniffer for us the other night. And
how did that work? Because you played Jawan Stafford at tight end as well.
Just trying to get some bigger bodies, some more. Those two are two of the strongest, twitchiest kids that we got, bigger kids, and trying to get some bodies on bodies and move some people and give Isaiah and Deuce some places to run and Gian, and so hopefully with that just brings a different element, some different things out there.
You were close on a couple of long pass plays, and I know you were banging your head on that. That had to be something, and I've seen you practice. I've seen you do that. You work on it all the time. But Isaiah, maybe a little amped up on some of those passes.
Well, there's one on their sideline going into the end zone that when we watch film, I'm like, son, you got to punt that. You see both corner and safety drive on Deuce. There's nothing there but green grass. I don't care if you kick it backwards to him. It's got to be complete.
Yeah.
Terrell said, Coach, that ball was in the air forever. And got on him a little quicker, and he had to adjust and didn't catch the ball. One to Dane had to be overthrown because the safety did corner bit, but the safety did a good job, and Isaiah put it where he had to put it, just a little over the reach. And then there was another long one to Dane that was overthrown where he was behind him, and then one to Terrell. If he keeps running, he probably catches it instead of turning and running.
I remember that one.
So, and to say the least, I didn't count it, but our coaches said Isaiah threw that ball about 63 yards running to the left.
He's got an incredible gun.
He has, and whether you got a little revolver or a big bazooka, you got to control it, and that's the things that he's learning. And he's made some good throws and some touch throws that have been good, but there's a fine line between that and with live bullets and adrenaline and energy, it's sometimes a little. And that's the first thing we did on Monday after we got warm was through go routes, post routes, double moves, out routes, all the things that we do to try to get him in rhythm and them in rhythm. And again, we're playing several wideouts, so everybody's different, everybody's speed's different, and sizes are different. And so but as much as we've thrown the ball from summer to now, we should be close.
Changing gears, you have to, as good as it was to get that win at McMinnville, you got to flip it and get ready for Cookeville. Cookeville comes in a really good football team.
3-0. Of course, I spent 4 years in Cookeville and got some friends up there. Got some friends on the coaching staff, and it's a senior-laden team. They came into their own last year after our game and made a good run, won a game in the playoffs.
Because at that time when Lebanon beat Cookeville, nobody really realized how big a win that was because Cookeville played so well from that point on.
Right, and I'm sure that loss, that memory lingers a little bit. When we left the field that night, I never thought it would play out the way that it played out, and basically their 2 wins and some of our losses knocked us out of the playoffs last year. But I'm sure that's in their mouth, and that's what they've been told all week. You got beat 41-17 last year, and different teams. But as you turn on the film, it's a lot of the same characters for them, and we've got a lot of different characters. So it's a different year, but it all goes through their quarterback, the Owen kid. He is hard downhill runner. He's a good-looking specimen, about 6'1". Opposing coaches just told me he's anywhere from 215 to 235. So obviously he's rocked up and built. But
so that's a lot of the same characteristics of the big kid at Upperman, and they use him in a similar fashion.
Very similar. We feel like we'll get some of the same stuff that Upperman gave us, especially with the weather coming in. It'll be quarterback laden, but also they've got a tailback whose brother plays at Tennessee Tech and is very dynamic, and he kind of came into his own. I think he up-and-coming player of the week this week or something. He had
Johnson.
I'm not sure. Number 1. He's number 11 last year, and he had 100-something yards rushing, a couple touchdowns, and also plays safety. The quarterback also plays outside linebacker and is by far their best player on defense, coming off the edge and making tackles and stuff. And they took the harness off and just let him go. And it has made them much, much better and much harder to prepare for on defense. So they have a good football team, senior-laden football team, as I've already said, with a lot of experience. And so it's a big task. Of us Wilson County coaches all have talked, and it's kind of all right. Cookeville may be the favorite because you know how we are. None of us are going to say,
right.
It's just the way it is. But I think in consensus, we'd all look to them with the run that they made at the end, them and possibly Mount Juliet and Green Hill. All right, where we going to be? So again, a big ball game, early region game, homecoming. Of course, I don't know what that entails.
Well, and I saw the email that Dr. Walters sent on Wednesday saying the decision about the homecoming festivities would be made on Thursday. But there's a lot going on, and you guys decided to keep it on Friday. Talk about what went into that decision.
Well, I haven't had any classes, but I've been playing weatherman, and we have looked, and it depends on which station you look at, which app you look at, some of the things. But I will say this, if I played weatherman in 2004, we moved our game up to a Thursday night versus Upperman, and it was the worst wind and rain that I've ever been a part of at a football game. We couldn't get a snap under center. We couldn't get a snap. There were 21 total fumbles in that game, and I have PTSD from that. And so a lot of times, the next night I went to Trousdale County Livingston game, and it was beautiful. And so you know how it is, it's hit or miss. And then when you look at it, the wind and the rain on Thursday may be worse than the rain on Friday. And so I talked to my superiors and said, y'all tell me what to do. It's homecoming. I'm fine to keep it on Friday night and go. I'm fine to move it up. I called Coach Hennigan. We talked. He said, let me know. And I said, since it's homecoming, everybody's coming in, everything else. The consensus with the people that I spoke with, Friday looks good. Now, once it's hit landfall, I haven't looked in a couple of hours. I don't know, but we've got to play it one way or the other. So it's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and scheduled for Friday night at 7 o'clock. So I said, let's roll with it.
And this may be one of the best selling points ever for turf for the other county schools.
Yes, and be a good time. there's been a lot of hard work and money poured into that field. And I walked out there a while ago, coming off the practice field, and it's painted and it looks beautiful. And after Friday night at 6 o'clock, it won't look beautiful no more. I know it pains Dusty Brady, who does a wonderful job taking care of it, and Jacob, who paints that devil head and stuff, and Jeff Clemens, who helps them, and it will look beautiful. It does. I told him to take a picture of it
beforehand,
because you can't help it. If we get the amount of rainfall that it says, there's no way it's going to be sloppy. It's going to be wet. Spend a lot of time taking care of it. You're going to tear it up. It's the way it is. Turf wouldn't hurt it a bit, but good selling point. Anybody that's listening and wants to donate it, just hit me or tie me up. We'll get with you. But it is what it is.
Equipment, shoes, footballs, that sort of thing. It's going to be sopping wet. How do you prepare for that?
All the towels we got, all the footballs we got, best cleats you got, bring 2 pair of socks, bring you an extra towel, extra undershirt, anything we'll change at halftime after we may do 3, change after warm-ups, change, I don't exactly know how, but it's going to rain on both sides. To me, after all the stress and everything, 7 o'clock, let's go play football and have fun. Like I say, when you're a kid and 15 years old, hey, it's raining, let's go play in it. Let's go. When you're my age, you're like, oh, my hips hurting or whatever, But it is what it is, So you got to embrace it and play. We can't control the weather. I wish I could. I can't. Mother Nature will take care of that, and maybe that whatever Florina, whatever her name is, will get on out of here, and Friday evening about 6 o'clock it'll open up and the skies will be pretty and no more rain.
Does it, again, because you don't know what it's going to be like at 7 o'clock on Friday night, but do you kind of stick in the back of your head, well, if it's bad, I want to do this on offense as opposed to what I would normally do?
I went through a whole legal pad this week of, well, this is what we're going to do, this is what we might do, this is what we have to do, and so there's a lot of moving parts to it. Yes, if I would attack them one way if it was dry and we were sunny and 70 and on turf, and if it's raining and not bad, then there's different things, and then you got to see how do your kids handle it. We practiced yesterday dipping a football in a 5-gallon bucket, tossing it to the center, saying down, set, go, and you can't do one anymore. I mean, I can't. It's similar. I thought about turning the sprinklers on, but
I'll tell you a quick story. When Medley was coaching at Lebanon and Greg Triplett was the quarterback, they were preparing like that for what was going to be a wet Friday night, and they had a couple of 5-gallon buckets and managers dipping these plastic rubberized footballs down in there to get them good and wet. And Lebanon was never in a shotgun, so the very first snap that Triplett got up there, he gets under center. The ball goes straight up. It went right through his hands, and Medley started kicking buckets of water over, screaming at Greg, you got to get that snap. But at least you're preparing for it.
In 2004, Dusty Brady was my quarterback.
That was at Smith County.
At Smith County. And Brian Hackett come over the headset after we had fumbled the snap and exchanges and everything several times. Because when I say it was raining sideways, you could barely see the other side of the field. And it was wet. And their field was holding water. And from that, Brian said, Dusty wants to get in the shotgun. I said, what? He said he thinks he can catch the snap better in the shotgun than he can under center. And we got in the shotgun and started moving the ball a little better. We won 6-0 on a pick six. That's how bad it was. That's a semifinal team that beat everybody else by about 14 points. I mean, we were a really good football team. But I told Brian, I said, I tell you what, you tell him he can get in the shotgun if he goes down there and asks Jimmy Maynard if he can get in the shotgun. So it ended up I had to ask Jimmy if he could get in the shotgun, but we did. We got in the whole middle of the third quarter on, we were in the shotgun.
You do what you have to do.
Well, I mean, it was just it gave him time to see it, cradle it, catch it, and then hand it versus it coming up and that wet ball hits sometimes, and sometimes it's like a greased pig. And
hey, let's talk about this a little bit. Of course, Shop Springs Creamery is the official chocolate milk supplier for Blue Devil football. 2816 Sparta Pike. Great folks, the Turners. This week's team meal sponsors, freshman and JV got fed on Monday by Alderman Tick Bryan. They got up into his back pocket a little bit. Thursday, Mayhem Mechanical, Kenny Dillon is going to feed the team. And on Friday, Shenandoah Mills is going to feed the team. And once again, the kids really appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to tell you how good Tick treated us. I had to go get my chain crew out from and under the barbecue to get them on the field for the freshman game. So they were enjoying it. But the team meals are some of the best bonding experiences that we have. The speakers that come and speak to us, Coach Medley and Mayor Hutto were discussing how good the pregame speech was last week, and that was what caused the win. So I've invited Mayor Hutto back to speak anytime he wants to, since he's got the secret recipe. Yeah. But our kids enjoy it. They like people coming in and talking. They hear us talk all the time. They like sitting down and being boys and telling jokes. And some of the coaches sitting with them. Some of them, last Thursday night we had sake, and I had kids taking plates home like they were taking handoffs, going at it. But it's a fun time, and we appreciate the support, and that's the best meal that some of those kids get all week.
Yeah.
And they and again, for some of them, it's a treat to go to sake. It's a treat to get Chick-fil-A, or I'm kind of partial. We've had really, really good success when we've been fed Witt's barbecue. So last Friday, I asked the principal if I could go buy me some Witt's barbecue to try to get off the ground. And so probably Friday in the rain, I'm gonna go get Witt's again to see what happens, and maybe it'll bring us a little luck.
Chuck, thanks for the visit as always. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you on Thursday, okay?
Thank you, Tommy.
Chuck Gentry, head coach of the Blue Devils, with us. We'll be back with more right after this. Thank you, sir. Welcome back. You didn't go anywhere. We didn't go anywhere. I don't know why I say welcome back. Coach's Night Out, Town Square Social is the show. 145 Public Square, Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Shop Springs Creamery, the Salas Realty Group, THW Insurance Services, LLC, Cumberland University Athletics, DT McCall & Sons make this show possible. Tim Mathis, 2-0 head coach Tim Mathis for Cumberland University with us, coming off a 38-14 victory at Union Commonwealth. We used to call them Union College in lovely Barberville, Kentucky. You go up there and you gotta win, and you really, of course, I didn't get to see it. I'm listening to it and listening to you guys on the post game. You played good football. 38-14 was a win.
We played a lot better than we did the week before. And still, the week before we put up 35 points, but we played better. we played more of a complete game offensively and defensively, and still, you know, still a lot of stuff to work on that we can get better at, but we did feel good about the fact that offensively and defensively we played better. We had a lapse, like, you know, 7 of their points was from a kickoff return, so we got to do better at that. So, you know, defensively they only gave up 7 points, which, you know, was a heck of a lot better than the previous week. And I thought the guys just played, and we were on a mission. We were embarrassed last year about how we played against them, and we were on a mission that we weren't going to let that happen again and prove that wasn't who we are, and you know, we should have played that way last year, and so there was a mission about that of playing better, but the kids did exactly what you know, we asked them to do, and offensively and defensively, when you put it together, we got to get special teams better, but we couldn't have played. We could play better, but you know, you couldn't ask for much more in that win.
There seems to be a maturity about this football team, Tim, and they're still a youngish kind of bunch.
Well, we're younger, but, you know, as we talked about, I guess the first talk we had about this is, you know, we still are young, but a lot of them have played, and there is a maturity about it, and it goes back to the Missouri Baptist game. You know, our maturity helped us win that game, and I do think our kids, I think they got their heads on right, and it's not, you know, because I talked about them Sunday night at our team meeting about, you know, we're starting well now, is we got to take that too and build off of it. You can't get well, we've arrived. You know, our goal is to win a conference championship, and we hadn't done anything to do that yet because we're not in conference play yet.
Yeah.
So we hadn't done anything yet, so there's no reason to stick our chest out or whatever. It's about just putting your head down and work on Cumberland. So our theme all this week has just been, we got to get Cumberland better. We're not worried about, we're always scheming. We're worried about the opponent. We're working on it, but we're worried about Cumberland getting better.
That's a priority.
Yes.
Luke Holloway had an incredible day. I'm not smart enough to compute the quarterback ratings, but 12 of 14 for 195 yards, 4 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. Spread the ball around. You ran it well enough to open up the passing game, and Luke responded with what could be the best game he's played for Cumberland.
Right, and it's the run game is letting us do this. If we could have done this, and it's all about, you know, play action, RPO, whatever you want to call it, the run game's opening up the passing game, and we're, you know, the key to any of that is you got to complete them. Last year we couldn't complete one to save our lives, but this year we're hitting them, and, you know, and guys, some of them are the same guys that played last year, but they've got a year under their belt. They're more comfortable. They're not nervous as all get out because they were freshmen or sophomores at first time they played or whatever, and, you know, they're making plays. Tim Frill made a catch that when he threw it, and he was wide open. When he threw it, I was like, "Boy, we're going to drop this one," because it was a Willie Mays over the head catch and he caught it, and I was like, "Wow, you know, that's a hard catch. That's not easy to do."
And that was the long one, right?
That was the long one, to look over your head and catch that. And we made 2 on the sideline toe taps, and then Jarius Rogers made another one, and he just took it away from the defender. They both came down with it, and Jarius, who's a true freshman, he just took it away from him.
Well, I noticed a true freshman, and that's a great thing about Cumberland.
Still making mistakes, but, you know, there's one thing you can't coach, and it's speed. You either got it or you're chasing it. And he just went up and got the ball and just took it away from the guy. Luke really underthrew it, and Jared, I think our run game is a product that's helping us open up the passing game. And we're doing more RPOs and
Carried the football?
Well, we had every running back we took, four running backs carried the ball. You can't beat that. We had 4 guys run the ball, and, you know, and we're not. I told at the end of the broadcast.
And you dominated the snaps. You out-snapped Union. You dominated the time of possession, which keeps your defense off the field.
Total yards of offense. they played lights out, and just, you know, they're getting, you know, Torian's put a few wrinkles in of some different blitzes that maybe we didn't run last year that are really, you know, he's dialing it up from safety blitzes to some linebacker blitzes that are coming from different angles that they just hadn't picked up yet. You know, the guys we're playing each week hadn't, you know, they just come at great times, and it's making for, you know, it's exciting. And the biggest thing I think from both weeks is, it's a big factor in all the games, is we're winning the turnover margin each week too. So we're making them turn the ball over, and we're not turning the ball over as much as they're turning it over. We didn't turn it over this past week. I think we turned it over once against Missouri Baptist, where we made them turn it over 2 or 3 times. So, you know, that helps a whole bunch of them taking the ball away, but they're playing lights out.
St. Augustine is the opponent.
St.
Andrews. I always say that. St. Andrews from North Carolina. They get to come to Cumberland and see what a real football facility looks like. Sorry, folks, that's the truth. But the weather's going to be an issue somehow, some way. If it's not raining on Saturday, Noakes Lassiter Field is going to take a lot of water between Thursday and kickoff on Saturday.
And that,
afternoon.
you know, that's the unknown. And I was actually talking to someone today about that. It's, you know, they have a lot of challenges. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, like you said, with their facilities and how they're funded and stuff. And, you know, I'd hate to be there and try to make that work. But, you know, weather can be a great equalizer. You know, we got to hold on to the ball. We've got to be sound and keeping the ball and not turning it over or whatever, because, you know, you can't. My perfect example of that, and it's not knocking Union or whatever, but, you know, you show up just thinking you're going to win. We saw what that happened to us last year. We did that against Union. You know, they laid a big egg on us and smushed it all over our faces. You got to take each opponent serious, and, you know, that's why we told them this week is it's not about who we're playing. It's about us getting better. If, you know, we got to go into this game and get better, no matter who we're playing, because the goal is to win a conference championship, and this is the next step to that goal. And the weather is, I mean, it's going to be a huge factor. I don't, you know, who knows what it's going to do. We've had some crazy wind games 2 or 3 years ago when Bethel played there, when it was 30-something mile-an-hour wind, and we basically won the game because I took the wind the second and fourth quarters, it basically, because you couldn't throw the ball into the wind.
You sure couldn't kick into it.
And you couldn't kick or do anything. We scored all points when we had the wind, and they didn't. We held them when they had the wind. You know, that's going to be a factor too. We don't know what the wind's going to do too. It could be blowing like crazy with all this hurricane and all that coming up. You know, it's still going to be real windy, and so you just got to prepare for it. But the biggest thing is we just can't beat ourselves.
And it's a shame that it would impact the folks who decide to come to the game, because there's a certain amount of juice going right now about this football program, and I think you would have a good crowd.
I think, and you know, hopefully it's still, you know, everybody gets in the shower every morning and gets wet. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah, but you're not wearing clothes.
You're not wearing clothes.
You didn't wear. Shower.
Yeah. Well, we'll just say we're at an RV resort park and we're taking a shower, and we don't want to get the heebie-jeebies, so we're keeping our clothes on. So, but, you know, I would love for everybody to come out, and it is, you know, the weather might be challenging, but, you know, these kids deserve, and the good thing that I've always loved about this being at Lebanon here is our hometown supported us. There's people that don't really have a connection to Cumberland that do come and support us, and, you know, it means a lot to the kids for them to come out, and I'm pretty sure, you know, it might not be the best crowd we have, but I bet there'll be a lot of people in the stands.
Do you streamline some things offensively, or you maybe have a package or a set of plays? If it's awful, this is what we go to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, you know, just not giving away a game plan or anything, but if it's like pouring down rain, I'm sure we'll run the ball more.
Yeah.
You know? we're going to have to do that. And the biggest thing is just stress with them, ball security. I mean, because that's what it's going to boil down to is it can get away from somebody in a hurry if they keep putting the ball on the ground or keep snapping it over your head or dropping the snap, different things like that. But it will probably be more if the weather is nasty. Yeah, it'll be streamlined more of it. It'll just be some of our base runs because we feel good about that. We feel like we wouldn't have to throw the ball if we didn't need to. It would be tough for that just because the way Luke's playing for it not to happen. But we're going to do what we need to do to win the game.
Last time we sat here, you talked about maybe trying to get some more offensive linemen into the game,
yep.
Rotate those cats a little more. Were you able to do that against Union?
We definitely did, and they played well, and that's the goal this week too, is even get more back. We got Logan Martin back today. He's been out a couple of weeks. With a shoulder issue, but he's back, and so he's going to play some too, which is starting to help our depth back at guard in places. And we got 2 more that we're going to get back really, really soon. So we'll be going into the conference schedule. We'll be at full strength hopefully, but same way on defense. We got some guys that hadn't played a lot and some of our guys that play a whole bunch that might have a tight quad or hamstring or whatever, and hopefully you don't have to play them very much and get some of those other guys in the game. That is our plan going in, is even get more guys into the game.
And playing at home, you're able to have more guys active, right?
Right.
It's not like you're limited to what you can pile onto 2 buses. You got a bigger active roster.
There'll be a few more guys that don't travel that will dress out at home, and nothing would make me happier than to empty the sideline and let everybody get in, because that doesn't do anything but make everybody happy. Mama's in the stands too. So
how has practice been as we put this show on Wednesday? How have the guys reacted to the good start coming off a good win?
It's been this way all camp. It's been high energy all the time, and everybody, everybody's focused, and you can tell, if you're there every day, you can tell from even when we broke fall camp through the first game, through the second game, both sides of the ball, we're getting better and better, and that's key, that you're not just staying somewhere, because we talk all the time. And it's like that way in life. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You don't stay the same. You either got better that day or you didn't. You got worse. And we've had a lot more get better days than we've had get worse days.
Well, that's awfully encouraging. You've got 2 wins under your belt. You got St. Augustine coming in on Saturday, kickoff at 1:30. Radio pregame starts at 1. The live stream will be out there on the Cumberland Sports Network. Go CumberlandAthletics.com. A lot of opportunities for folks to see this football team, and they really need to take a good look at it.
Yeah, they do, because this is. I think we have a really good, a really special team. I really do believe that, like you said, of these guys that have a maturity about them. And I think they're going to see something special in this group.
Tim, thanks for the visit as always, and I'll see you on Saturday.
All right,
okay?
thank you.
All right, pal.
Go
Tim
Phoenix.
Mathis, head coach at Cumberland University, with us. We'll take a little break, and we'll be back to wrap the show up after these words. Our final segment of Coach's Night Out from Town Square Social, Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Shop Springs Creamery, the Salas Realty Group, THW Insurance Service, LLC, Cumberland University Athletics, and DT McCall's. If you miss any of the show, it'll be replayed tomorrow all across the social media platforms of Main Street Media. It'll be on the Wilson Post Facebook page tomorrow morning on Thursday at 8:30. Speaking of Thursday, John McNeil, head coach at Friendship Christian, is with us here in the final segment. And the schedule, because of all the rain that's coming and the weather, it's broken up. Warren County at Mount Juliet, Watertown at DeKalb County, Grace Christian at Friendship are all going to be played on Thursday. That game at Pirtle Field will be a 6:30 kickoff. John, how'd you come to that decision?
Well, we have a group, I think juniors are going to Washington for leaving on Saturday, so we didn't want to go into Friday, and if something happened with lightning, you never know with lightning,
right,
where you don't get to play, we don't have a backup. So that really played the most into why we play or going to play tomorrow. As far as 6:30, that's not what I wanted, but Grace asked if they would do that, because of school the next day. So we agreed to it, and it'll be.
I guess school's important.
Yeah, but they do play basketball games during the week too at night.
That's
so
a good point.
But whatever, it's all fine. I mean, we'll do it and just adjust.
You've got turf, which has got to be a blessing to be able to know you're going to get footing. You're not going to rip up your playing surface out there. Still, though, we don't know what we're going to get Thursday, Friday. The wind could be howling and it could be pouring down rain.
It's a guess. I mean, I don't remember what year. I can't keep up with the years. You might. Hurricane came in. We were still playing Watertown at the time, and most people changed theirs to Thursday night. We kept ours on Friday. We were at Watertown, and everybody on Thursday it was bad. And on Friday, it didn't even rain. So I don't remember. That was a long time ago. But you don't know. I mean, you really don't know which night is going to be worse. Our decision was not on that as much as it was to have a backup. So if something happened tomorrow night, we could play on Friday. Was really the big reason for us.
You're coming off a loss to Columbia Academy. You went on the road. You lost 21-15. How do you think your guys played there at Columbia Academy?
I think we found some things out. I'll be honest, this year, scrimmages-wise, offensively, I felt pretty good where we were. First game, it's hard to tell, just because we were, we were able to we didn't do some things right, but we were able to score. So, you don't really analyze it as much as you should. And then the next game, we didn't get the ball in the end zone. When you lose Tyson,
oh yeah,
you lose 3,000 yards last year, and you lose 54 touchdowns. So we're in the process of trying to find a combination there. And Carlando has been moved from off the line to running back. Has done a good job, but he's also one of our best defensive players. So just this early in the year, we've had more cramps and than we should, and so that's kind of hurt us. We got most people playing both ways, so there's some times we got. I think last week we might have had 2 freshmen on offense, 1 on defense. So I felt like in the second half we controlled the ball. We only gave up. Their running back's one of the best in our division, and I think we held him 39 yards. We outgained them, had more first down, time possession. So I felt like the second half we finally got in the end zone, and it kind of helped us, to what we're trying to do.
But bottom line, you want to get in the playoffs. You want to be playing your best football at the end of the season, and if those games get you to where you want to be, that's a trade-off.
Well, I mean, people ask, especially early in the year, how good's whoever you're playing, and my answer is pretty much the same. I mean, I know about them, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about us.
Yeah.
I'm worried about doing the things we need to do, because if we do our things better, then, you know, it'll take care of itself. And I felt like the second half last week we did that, and hopefully it'll carry over. And this week we can continue to get better. We've made a few changes we did going into last week, really the second half, and hopefully we're going to find our rhythm of what we need to do offensively that will be successful for what we got.
And if I remember right, you've scored 15 points in back-to-back weeks. You feel like you're a better offensive team than that. You had,
no
I know
question.
you had some runs called back, some plays called back against Columbia Academy, right?
No, we had 2 against DCA.
DCA.
We had 2 touchdowns called back against them. And then last week, second half, we came out and kind of took control. We went up, we scored, we made a pick, got down, scored, took the lead. And then we had a punt, we had a snap over our punter's head. They blocked it, picked it up, and scored. So it kind of, you know, some things in the kicking game we're still trying to shore up on some things there. So once again, I mean, this week, if we get better as we keep going, our whole goal is, and we've been here before, where we've lost several games, you know, a few games, and still been able to, well, I think in 11 we might have lost 3 and won the state, you know. So we got to continue to get better and keep from having injuries.
Because your roster's not that big. You've got you've got a lot of kids playing both ways. So if a guy gets banged up, you've basically lost 2 guys.
We have probably about 40 kids, which is a little more, but 20 of those are freshmen.
Yeah.
We have a good freshman group. They're going to be good. And, you know, some of them are out there. Well, our center's a freshman, and he's starting. So we feel good. It's still different.
Yeah.
When you're going out there as a freshman going up against some seniors. But, you know, they'll grow up real quick.
They don't have any choice because, you know, Thursday's going to roll around, and then Friday the rest of the season. You got to get them going. Carlando's in the backfield. Is there a Tomlinson or a Tom?
Will Thompson.
Thompson's in the backfield.
He does a good job, but he's running linebacker. We also run Sammy Pruno. We brought him in from receiver, and he's getting the hang of it. But you've got only Will Thompson's the only one that's really ran running back.
Yeah.
And so the others are trying to figure it out as they go, because running the ball is not, you know, everybody thinks they can run the ball, but they're still seeing the cut, seeing the way you needed to, you know, make the cut left or right or whatever. That's still part of just experience. So, you know, we got to get, you know, Luke threw the ball well the other night. I didn't think we protected as well as we needed to be. And so those are just a lot of things we're still knowing we got to shore up on.
Grace Christian comes in, Grace Christian from Franklin. What do you know about those guys, John?
I mean, we always have a battle with them. It doesn't really matter what kind of team we have and what kind of team they have. It just seems like it's always a battle back and forth. And most of the time, it's usually high scoring on both sides. You know, they're going to have some athletes, and they're going to try to throw it, and you know, they like to put the ball in the air. Defensively, they have a good front. They'll be physical. So, you know, once again, where are we going to be? And we feel like we have a good size in the line. We just got to get after them and do our assignments, and you know, and I think that's the biggest thing is some of our guys still learning their assignments.
Well, and getting lined up right and knowing what I do in this situation. I've seen your practices before. Dwayne Lowe works those guys hard on that mental aspect of being where you're supposed to be. And again, with younger guys and a new cast of characters, it's probably taken a little bit to get where you want to be on that side.
Yeah, I mean, all 4 linebackers are new. 2 are seniors. Well, 3 are seniors, but they're all new to that position. And so that is a learning that linebacking is a little different. You can't just go, you got to read fast, and you got to get downhill. So that's a transition for them too. But defensively, we've played real good. It's just a matter of giving up a long pass here and there. As far as last week, we had the 2 passes they threw, and outside of that, they didn't really do a lot on offense. So we just got to cut that out. And we got to, not let anybody beat us over the top, stop them, make them earn it. And then we've just got to finish drives, and we got to put more points on the board.
You mentioned cramping more than you've ever cramped. I don't know how to address that. Do you pound fluid in them, make them eat bananas? Do you try to condition a little bit more? I mean, and on game night, they're going to put out more effort probably than they do in practice. That's just human nature, and probably expel a little more energy. I
mean, we try to have our strength coach liquid IV stuff that you put in your water, just to kind of help hydrate. The bottom line is you got to drink water every day starting on Sunday till Friday. And I just don't think they do. I mean, you pound it. You have to drink water. Do not drink Cokes. Do not do that. And then we had probably 8 or so the last couple of weeks get IVs on Thursday. And so we've been conditioning really hard. That's not on them. That's on us. Maybe it's just because we didn't come in this evening as well conditioned as we probably need to be.
How do you condition at this point? Is it take the shoulder pads off, let's do some sprints? Is it some distance work? How do you guys do it?
Well, I mean, we try to, like defensively, we try to run to the football. Like if we throw a pass down the 20, they have to run. Everybody has to run down there and meet. So part of practice is that way. Now some part of practice is set back. I mean, it's kind of teaching, and you got to learn. You can't really do that. But at the end of practice, we've just been running, and our strength coach, he decides whether they're sprints or just different things. He knows we got to catch up and try to get the kids. And I guess it may be that. I don't know. In the past, we've had kids that are in real good shape, and they're going to cramp. Yeah. It don't matter how high it is or how cold it is. So you never know. So we tried to do better last week, and I think we did a better job making sure Orlando got a break on offense. Make sure that,
because if he's going to get a break, it's going to be on offense.
He needs to be on defense, but yes, I mean that's probably where. And then everybody else, like I told Coach Lowe, look, I'll help you here with this one. This one I can't help you with.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. This one's got to play. So either you figure a way to give him a break, or he just don't have to. He doesn't come out. So I've tried to, like receivers, none of the DBs can come out. So I've tried to make sure, hey, I go this time, you go next time. We make sure we get a break on offense. Then it comes to kicking game, and so what do? I mean, if you don't sure up that.
Yeah,
you got to have some trouble there.
Got to have some good ones.
They want breaks on that, and it's like, no, you can't have breaks on that. We've got to be able to go the whole time.
And you mentioned PCA. They like to throw it big on defense. The weather might impact that a little bit. That might play into a different style of football for them.
Well, people ask all the time. Over the years coaching, when this weather comes in, they'll say, will it hurt or help you? I'll tell you tomorrow night around 10 o'clock. But you just don't know. I mean, we did a little bit today with wet balls. We had some bad snaps, in the gun. We had most of the snaps on punts were good, but it only takes one. So you don't know which way that's going to affect, who it's going to affect, them, us. You just don't know. The turf will make a difference, but it's still going to have footing weight. It's just not going to be nasty. It's not going to be muddy. It's not going to be eaten up. So, that's a plus. And who knows? Is it going to be raining at the time? I think they talk about getting a break around 5, and if it does, then the turf's fine. So we'll just have to see, and I can't really control that. So hopefully we just get mentally ready.
Well, with it being a Thursday game, I'll be out there to cover and see you guys, and we'll have photographers there. And then we're looking forward to what we feel like is going to be a good night of football, regardless of the weather. I know Friendship, you guys are going to do your part. Those kids will be ready to go.
Well, we're done now, and this is what makes it hard, because for me, from now till kickoff, it's the worst time for me, because my mind runs, and it's like, do I have everything settled? Do I have what we need? Have I done the kids right? But there's nothing else I can do about it. So I let that That's probably the worst time of coaching for me, is after the last practice until kickoff.
Well, John, thanks for the visit as always. I'll see you on Thursday at Pirtle Field. 6:30 kickoff as Grace Christian comes to Friendship Christian at Pirtle Field to play that Week 4 game. And let me run through that schedule with you folks again one more time. Thursday night games include Warren County at Mount Juliet, Grace Christian at Friendship, Watertown will go to Smithville to play DeKalb County. Green Hill will play at Wilson Central on Friday the 13th. Cookville at Lebanon, Red Boiling Springs at Mount Juliet. For the guys behind the camera, for everybody here at Town Square Social, I'm Tommy BRYAN. I will talk to you later. Thanks,